Welcome to the Christ-Centered Journey. I'm Pastor Dan Shipton, and I invite you to join with us as we study the Scriptures to spur one another on in our faith. The Christ-Centered Journey is a ministry of Christ Center Community Church in Clifton, Illinois. And now, here's today's podcast. Good Monday morning. We are continuing our study in John chapter 18 today. We started last week with the arrest of Jesus, and today we're going to continue on with the trial of Jesus, at least with trial with when he was tried before the Sanhedrin. And so we're going to go down to verse 12 today. After they arrested Jesus, it says, "Then the detachment of soldiers with its commander and Jewish officials arrested Jesus. They bound him and brought him first to Annas, who was the father-in-law of Caiaphas, the high priest that year. Caiaphas was the one who had advised the Jews that it would be good if one man died for the people. Simon Peter and another disciple were following Jesus. Because this disciple was known to the high priest, he went with Jesus into the high priest's courtyard. But Peter had to wait outside at the door. The other disciple, who was known to the high priest, came back, spoke to the girl on duty, and brought Peter in. "You are not one of the disciples too, are you?" the girl at the door asked Peter. "It was cold." "I am not," he replied. It was cold, and the servants and the officials stood around a fire that they had made to keep warm. Peter also was standing with them, warming himself. Meanwhile, the high priest questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching. "I have spoken openly to the world," Jesus replied. "I always taught in the synagogues or at the temple, where all of the Jews come together. I said nothing in secret. Why question me? Ask those who heard me. Surely they know what I said." When Jesus said this, one of the officials nearby struck him in the face. "Is this the way you answer the high priest?" he demanded. "If I said something wrong," Jesus replied, "testify as to what was wrong. But if I spoke the truth, why did you strike me?" Then Annas sent him, still bound, to Caiaphas the high priest. As Simon Peter stood warming himself, he was asked, "You are not one of the disciples, are you?" He denied it, saying, "I am not." One of the high priest's servants, a relative of the man whose ear Peter had cut off, challenged him. "Didn't I see you with him in the olive grove?" And again, Peter denied it. And at that moment, the rooster crowed. As we read this passage, a couple of things come to mind. First of all, the high priests, those that were in charge, those religious leaders, those who thought they knew better than God's plan. They were bound to do their own thing, and they never were going to accept who Jesus was. They came into this meeting, Annas, Caiaphas, others came into this meeting already willing and ready to get rid of Jesus. That's why they arrested him. I mean, they had the plan all in motion. Everything was there. And their minds weren't going to be changed even when the truth was spoken. Jesus was asked about his teaching, and he said he always taught publicly. He always taught in the open. He always taught places where people saw him. Nothing was hidden. You know, that's one of the things, is Jesus was never hidden because God's plan doesn't have to be hidden. But people don't always see. Sorry about that. People don't always see. Sorry. This morning I'm having a little trouble. So, we need to realize God cares about us. His plan is in motion. His love is there. And I'm going to have to cut this short because this morning I'm having a little trouble, but I hope God blesses you today. I hope that we aren't like Peter, denying Christ but standing firm in our faith, because Peter was one of his followers, and he denied him. And sometimes we deny him openly because we don't want people to know of our love for God. So God bless you today, and may you take his blessings wherever you go. We'd like to thank you for joining us for the Christ-centered journey, and we hope that God has blessed you today and that you will bless others. We'd invite you, if you don't have a church and you're in the Clifton area, to join Christ-centered Community Church. You can find us by going to Facebook and find Christ-centered Community Church. You can also look us up on Facebook at christcentercommunity.org. You can also leave prayer requests there on a prayer request line, and they go straight to me. Another thing that you can do is on Sunday mornings, we meet at 10:15 for in-person worship. Right now, on most Sundays, we are at the Parsonage at 195 West 3rd Avenue in Clifton. Once a month, at the beginning of the month, the first Sunday, we are in the Community Building in Clifton. We also meet at 10:15 that day, and that's on East 4th Street in Clifton. You can also find us for Facebook Live or YouTube Live shortly after our services begin at 10:15 on Sunday mornings. We hope that God is blessing you and that you carry those blessings out into the world around you.